when you're raising money for a candidate, for a cause, for whatever it is that you're raising money for, you're not raising money for an event. You're not raising money for a photo opportunity or for even the immediate deadline. What you're talking about is the ultimate result. So if you hit next garage. So here's what Queen Floors looks like to me, right? So this is what we're raising money for. It's the second inauguration of President Barack Obama. Or it might be ending the war in Iraq. That's a great example. But that's what we're talking about. That's the future we want. Or it might be healthcare for everybody. These are values that we believe in. Or it might be leaders that look like us. That's, if you don't know, I hope you all know, that's former Governor Gary Locke, former Commerce Secretary of China, or next. Or it might be any known asset. So these are the kinds of things that we're talking about when we're raising money. We're talking, this is our ultimate goal we're getting to. Next. So fundraising is an art and a science. And so first we're going to go through the sort of science part of this and give you some very tangible tips and tricks that you can use to raise money. What I think would be helpful is to have a couple ideas around the room of what are you raising money for. So I'm sure many of you are involved in various causes and events and things like that. So I want a couple of examples of what you're raising money for or what you need to raise money for in the near future. So throw them out there. You've got something. Yes?
Yeah, I hosted a home party to raise money for charity, and that was really fun.
Great. So, I mean, moving forward, in the next 2 months or the next year or the next couple months, what do you need to raise money for?
A house party for Obama.
Perfect. House party for Obama. Anyone else?
Austin just is built the Asian American Resource Center. We have a big gala coming up to raise money for the Asian American Resource Center.
Great. So that's another one. Give me one more example. Yeah. Sarah McCaskill. I love Sarah McCaskill. Yes. One more. Oh, was it Nina? Was it?
Yeah, doesn't matter.
In Chicago, they're having a fundraiser for getting Indians to get out and
Great. So those are 4 good examples. Keep those in mind as we move forward. So, oh, something went wrong.
No, nothing went wrong.
Okay. Well, next. All right. So like I said, we're focusing on the science. Next slide. And this is easy. What we're going to do is we're going to make a plan, right? So here's the things you need to do to make a plan. First thing you need is targets. You want to know what are your goals. You need clear monetary number of goals. So for that fundraiser in Chicago, how much do you need to raise for that? For raising money for Claire McCaskill, what are you talking about? Are you talking about $100,000? Are you talking about $10,000? Are you talking about $500 in a local group? You need to have those targets. Second, you need tools. You need to figure out what are the methods you're going to use. Are you going to use events, which Natalie will talk to you about a little bit later? Or are you going to use direct mail, which actually does work for raising money? Or are you going to use online solicitations? So you have to figure out what are the tools that you want to use that you're comfortable with. Third, you need a timeline. You need to know when you need the money in the bank. This is critical for fundraising. You can't sort of fudge around with this. You need to know exactly when you have the money so that you can spend it. Fourth, you need tracking. Spreadsheets are your friend. Believe me, every good fundraiser has a good spreadsheet. I like to color code. I don't know about you, but every good fundraiser has a series of spreadsheets, and use them wisely. And last of all, you need to thank people. Just like Parag said, hi Belle. Just like Parag said, when you're asking people for the votes, you need to thank them afterwards. When you are doing fundraising, my recommendation is always thank before you bank. So you send a thank you note, you make a thank you call before you cash the check. And that's critical to get people to come back. Go ahead, next. So let me ask you, why do people give money?
Someone they know ask them.
Yes. Anyone else? Why do people give money? Why would you give money if someone asked you?
They support the cause.
They support the cause. What else?
They want their candidate to win.
They want their candidate to win. They want clean floors.
To identify.
Sorry?
To identify with the candidate also.
Absolutely. That's a great one, actually. Yeah.
Feel like they're part of
You feel like you're part of the movement.
Get invited to a nice event.
To get invited to nice event, which is also very true. So I want you all are taking notes, right? So this is easy. I'm stealing this from Emily's list because they do the best fundraising training I've ever seen. So take out your pen and draw 5 concentric circles. Have any of you actually done this before? No? Okay. Exactly. So you start with the candidate or the cause in the middle. So whether it's Barack Obama or Claire McCaskill or the Chicago Center or whatever it is, your cause is in the middle. And then you go 1 circle out. That's the personal circle, right? So this is people who are family and friends of the candidate. It's folks who went to college or go to church or go to a house of worship with the candidate. It's people who are employers or coworkers, and this applies to if it's a cause, right? So it's folks who are going to be going to the center. It's your friends, it's your neighbors, because you're the one hosting the event. So that's the personal circle. And this is a circle that is the easiest to raise money from, and this is where you should spend almost all of your time and all of your resources, because this is your number one set of donors. You go one circle out. Oh, no, go back. Go back. Oh, wait, no. Oh, right. Ideological, that's the next circle. So these are the movement people, right? These are the party donors and activists. These are fellow progressive officials, elected officials, the people who care about the movement. The next circle out, as you can see there, is the axe to grind. The people who really want to stick it to the guy that you're running against. So, right? So the people who saw Todd Aiken say the things that he said and said, that's not my guy, I will give you money just to beat him. Right? So it might be, what were the other examples of fundraising? So the people who say, Paul Ryan, he's going to put my grandma in, in a tough situation, so I'm not going to vote for him for that reason. I want to support the Obama-Biden for that reason. So those are the people in that circle there. And the last circle is this power circle. So these are the people who want to be at the event, right? These are the party leaders, the celebrities, the socialites, the chattering class who want to be a part. They want to win, and they want to be on the winning team. And so, hit next real quick. This is important. I don't know if you can see the arrow, but the further out you go, the more time and the more resource it takes to get those people to the table. So my best advice to you is to spend as much of your time and resources as possible towards the middle, working with folks who are directly connected to the cause and to the candidate. So, hit next real quick. So we're going to pause there. I'm going to turn over to Madeline to tell you how to not go to jail, and then I'll come back and we'll talk about the art of fundraising and making gas.
Alright, so I'm Madeline Dolka. I do fundraising for a living. I also used to be the training director for the Democratic National Committee. And we're going to basically talk about the do's and don'ts about fundraising. And I didn't do any fun slides for this because basically the words I have to impart to you is don't go to jail. Really, just remind yourself of that, because I'm not going to go to jail for any of my candidates. I don't want anyone else to go to jail for my candidates, and you certainly shouldn't go to jail for any of your candidates either. So basically what we do is you need to research all of the compliance laws for whomever you are fundraising for. And if they don't do it for you, if you yourself are fundraising for them, their finance person on the finance team, they should be able to give you all of the rules and regulations of what that means. If you're raising money for a local race, you need to have local finance laws given to you, as opposed to someone who's running for the U.S. Senate or U.S. House, the President. Any of the Federal Election Commission laws are different than local laws. So we take different types of money, and different states have different rules. So a lot of times when I do fundraising trainings, people will ask me specific questions about the state, whether they're running for city council or state legislature or whatever. And different states have different rules. So like Virginia and Texas, for instance, it's a free-for-all. You can take corporate money, you can take personal money, you can take any kind of money, and it's unlimited. So
Can't take corporate money.
Virginia does. So I mean, that's sort of the rules for being able to figure out what your individual states are doing. So everything gets, and every year it changes. The Federal Election Commission also changes the dollar limits for personal contributions because they take into effect inflation. So we started fundraising. I fundraised pre-McCain-Feingold, meaning I can take unlimited money from any source. So things have changed because of McCain-Feingold, and now things have changed because of the Supreme Court ruling. So the idea is really you must educate yourself so that you know that you are taking the right kind of money. People ask me, can you cut checks for certain organizations? And I always ask them back, what's your FEC ID number? What's your individual number for your campaign, so that I can be sure that I'm cutting the right kind of check for them. So it's all of those sort of things that you have to consider when you start fundraising. A lot of times finance teams will be very enthusiastic about getting you on board to fundraise, but not give you that education that you need to learn how to do it. And that implies not just the actual rules of fundraising, but also understand what kind of money they can take, what will happen. There is never a quid pro quo for any of those things that we're doing. So meetings with the member, meetings with the client or whatnot, votes, all of that sort of things. Because, we have a saying that you don't, with ethics, with fundraising, would you want to do it if you knew that you would never get caught? And that with fundraising can sometimes be a thing in the back of your head to remind yourself, because the fact that as professional fundraisers, we do have a lot of pressure on us to make sure that we're reaching our fundraising goals for the quarter, on a daily basis, and working towards that. So when you're working with people who, if you have a red flag that comes up, you might want to consider noticing it, checking it out a little bit. We've had unfortunate instances within our community where we've had individuals who've gone beyond the rules, and that's why vetting is so important. So for that instance, we need to be careful for our community and being sure that we are taking the necessary precautions so that we aren't in the paper and we aren't trying to defend a bad outcome. Yes.
One of the things that I found most people in our community don't understand. They say, oh, I'll give you the money, you write the check. I'm like, no. It's your money and you have to be identified with the money. They think that, oh, I don't want to be visible, so I'll give someone else the money. That's illegal.
That's
and
right.
I think that's a fundamental thing that people don't understand,
Yeah.
especially if they're given money in other countries where they bundle differently.
Right.
So that bundling piece, I think, is critical for people to understand.
Right, absolutely. And that's where going through with your potential raisers, it's important to tell them those do's and don'ts, especially, in federal elections where we say contributions have to be allocated to certain people who can't be reimbursed for any contributions. So all of the rules, they're just really important in the sense of knowing what they are and then transferring that information to your donors and to your folks who are going to be raising money for you, because if they don't understand it and if you're not capable of trying to impart that information to them, then they're not going to be able to do what you need them to do, which is focus on raising legitimate, clean money. So we try to document as much as we can so that we know that all these checks are coming from an individual person, all these checks are from someone who's reputable. I mean, it's hard when you have an exciting candidate sometimes and all this money starts flowing in and people want to support the candidate. And it's hard to say no to it when you need it to meet your budget goals. But you, as either a volunteer fundraiser or someone who is doing it professionally, you need to really understand what the rules are so that you can not ever go to jail. I mean, my thing is, if someone tried to tell me over the phone, oh look, I want to, raise you guys $10,000, but I can't, I need someone else to, do it for me, or there's going to be money involved, I just shut that down immediately, because I will state for them what the rules are. I will tell them what I can and cannot accept, and then say, look, you can't fundraise within these rules, that I really need you to consider doing something else to support the campaign, because I'm not going to go to jail. And if anyone thinks that it's that important to me to meet the fundraising goal, it's not. And so we should really consider that as well. So is there any questions on it? Yeah.
Well, another thing I think is important for our community as well, especially with the kind of events that we're probably going to be doing. So we do a lot of like sort of house parties and things like that, where maybe people are handing you lots of cash and they're walking in the door, right? You got to make sure that you're keeping track of that stuff. Like for me, if I'm doing an event at someone's home or something like that, every bundle of cash I get has to be connected, stapled to, hooked up to, pinned to a piece of paper with all of the information that I need to be collecting, so I can identify where every single dollar that came into that event is. And I know it can sometimes be a pain or inconvenient, because a house party is all about sort of intimate, just your friends and family, you want it to be informal, but you really have to make sure that people are coming in not just throwing cash into a jar or something like that, that you're really keeping good track of where all that money is coming from. You're doing those small cash events in your home.
And the small cash has to be under 100.
Well, FEC-wise.
Yeah.
I don't know what the rules are for
different, yeah.
different. But so if it's a federal election, it has to be under $100. That's really I mean, it's really just knowing what the rules are, being well educated about it, and then conveying that information to the people who you've now, recruited to, be racers for these companies. Alright, so move on to tag team.
Tag team.
Tag team.
Alright, so now we're going to do the fun part, which is making me ask. And this is the part that people are scared about, and you shouldn't be scared. And we're going to make it easy for you. So making me ask is about three things to do. Next, sorry, someone. First, and this is actually very similar to the messaging talk that you heard earlier. The first is stress the urgency. Why is it so important that you give money now? The second piece of this is show viability. Why are you the right person for them to be giving money to? What is it about your campaign or your candidate, your cause, that is innovative or that is moving the country forward? The third piece is asking for the money. And that sounds obvious, but that is the hardest part to do. And let me give you two quick tips when it comes to asking for money. The first one is this: ask for a specific amount. Not, can you help us out? Not, it'd really be great if you could give us a donation. It's, I need $500 from you to co-host this event. Or it's, I need $100,000 from you for this media buy. Or it's, I need $10 from you to attend this event. So it's a very specific amount, and if possible, attach it to a tangible outcome. So so that this works. It's much easier to raise money if you attach it to something that people can understand and wrap their heads around. Second part of asking for money is ask and then shut up. And the best way to do this, and I see professional fundraisers do this all the time. Madeline, I don't know if you do this or not, but take like a glass of water or a soda or something with you and say, Tarek, I really appreciate your support and your interest in this campaign. I need you to write a $5,000 check. And then you give them time to sort of process it and think, okay. And it prevents you from talking yourself out of it. Because it's so easy to say, I really need to ask you for a $2,000 check. But $1,500 would be fine. And if you can't do $1,500, then how about $500 today and then $500 tomorrow? And I'm really sorry I bothered you. Don't worry about it. Let's talk later. It's so easy to go down that slippery slope. So ask what you need to ask for. Pause. Take a drink of water. This works on the phone, by the way. This works actually really well on the phone. It's even more awkward, but force yourself to do it. And this is a skill that you need to have. And this will actually work. If you're next time you ask for a raise, try this tactic. Like when you're going to talk to your boss and you're saying, I need a $5,000 raise, just take a sip of water and just wait and let them. And I guarantee you, you'll get better results. And if the answer is, I can't do that, then your response is not, thanks so much. Your response is, well, how about this? What's your plan B? And then it's your plan C. And if it's not financial, then it's, well, okay, I understand you can't help with a check right now, but can you host a party? Can you raise $10,000? Can you raise $200? Can you find a couple friends to come? Can you put up a Facebook notice and let your folks know? So have something ready for them. So the best way to do this, you hit next, is for us to do a little role playing. So what I'd like you to do is cluster up like 2s, 3s, whatever works for you. Find some people you know, and take a few minutes to ask someone else for money. And this is not real money. It's like Monopoly money. But just practice. Think of something that you need to raise money for. It can be real or fictional, but just try it out. And I'm doing this to make you, I know you're going to all feel really uncomfortable and you're not going to want to do it, but we're going to report back, so you better do it. So please just take a few minutes. Let's take 3 minutes or 4 minutes. And 1 or 2 you just have the experience of asking somebody else. All right, let's bring it back in. So I've heard a couple of examples. Give me a break. Who's going to talk? I'll call you out if you don't volunteer.
But we're actually
I'm going to ask you because you're in it to win. So tell me about. Well, actually, why don't you guys tell us about what work you can see around this and what you have to do. Sorry, stand up.
We're going to ask for us to, for Pat to donate $4,000 for 10 items for an effort in the children. And she gave us a sense of what the money would do, which was to help teach children why it's important, which is that kids there aren't that eager to teach, and gave us a very specific ask for 10 items, which then she equated to $4,000.
Perfect. And did she ask for money then?
And then there was silence.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys will take your own money. Let me get any other examples? Reports back. Happy to. I see you two back there. Do you want to share your experience, please?
She set up a really good tennis. She was explaining what she was running for. So she was an Asian American lady that was running in a predominantly Caucasian area that is predominantly Republican. And she asked me if I would support her efforts as a Democrat by offering her $10,000 to support her efforts. I turned her down because I told her it was too much. But then she asked me if I would offer her a figure. So not only did I give her my figure, but then she asked me, well, since you gave me that, can you ask your friends to give me more?
That's
it was
great.
great.
That's great.
It was considerate.
That's great. And that's a great job setting it up to explain why it's so important. And you sort of reached her on the level that you knew were resonating with her. That's perfect. One more example. Anyone back there, you guys?
Sure.
Yeah,
Go for it.
we is running for rep in Texas, and she's
Are you
very
actually-
specific. She needs
Oh,
money
wow.
for.
Very cool. Do you want to actually ask her? I'm kidding.
It actually was a really good role play. It's an actual conversation.
Yeah, really.
She has specific breakdowns. I need money for the yard sign, etc., etc. So I, of course, suggested that's the best way to start with, because you can even give the number. Like if you need 4,000 for something, I need so much. I need so much. I was giving an example of when I was coming here as a delegate. My friends asked, "How much money need for the flight?" I said, $500. How much for the hotel? So and so. So I think that works best. And the offer may come up with their own number as well. So we don't want to give the number to them, but we have to give our number so that they come up with their numbers possible, or maybe the whole number.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it depends. I mean, this is not a one-size-fits-all, but these are some general steps certainly to help. And the more that you can offer a specific number, the easier it is for people to have something to respond to, right? Great. Well, I'm glad you at least had some I guess, an attempt at all of this. So, feel free to try it out. The more you do this, the easier it gets. Just hit next. Just a couple of quick takeaways for me. Again, remember this is about clean floors. And so when you're asking for money, you're trying to get them to think about those clean floors. Spreadsheets are your friends. I love spreadsheets. Third, it's all about like those circles and figuring out who are your prospects and assigning specific asks and amounts to each of them. Fourth, again, it's all about making the ask, which is showing urgency, stressing the viability of the organization or cause, and then making the ask. And then please don't ever forget to thank you for your bank. That's one of the most important things to remember here. So that wraps up my end, and I'll go back over to Natalie. Any questions while she gets her PowerPoint set up? No? Yes?
Do you write thank you cards, or what do you think?
So I think you can do it a number of ways. I mean, it could be a phone call, it could be a thank you card, like a handwritten thank you note. You know what a lot of people do is they have like various thank you note templates set up, depending on the amount. What's always a nice thing to do is you'll see this, if you've got a thank you note, people will scratch off the dear Mr. whatever and then write the person's name and pen and sign it and write a little note at the bottom. Just another random thing to put out there, since we didn't really talk about direct mail, are you going to talk about mail at all? Is the PS on a direct mail letter or any sort of email solicitation is the most important part. Studies have shown that that's the part that people read the most. So if you ever do send an email asking people for money or a letter, make sure that there is an ask here at the end, because most people skip right to the DMs. So that's it.
Okay, so we're talking about events. So we're going to do this is a fun and fundraising. So so what's the key to fundraising event? An enthusiastic host committee, like what we mentioned earlier. If we don't, it's not the event, it's not anything like that that makes it interesting. It's really the fact that a host committee who are interested in doing fundraising for your candidate or your cause, that's why they're involved. They're not involved because it's a fun event. They're involved because they still ultimately have to sell to their prospects, to their network of people. So the idea, for instance, you've got the president who's obviously a rock star. Then you might have some other candidates who are on down ballot races, and you're trying to think about, okay, well, let's have an event that's similar to what the president has done. The idea is, well, you can't go ahead and put together the event very similarly, but the problem is if your candidate doesn't have that same sort of rock star quality, can't use the same sort of list, can't use the same sort of ideas, then you can't really sell the event anyway. People are interested in supporting candidates themselves, so that's why I said it takes a village. People need to be enthusiastic, they need to be part of raising for the event and making sure that they're all supporting the candidate, maybe at various levels on a host committee, so that they're able to bring the responsibility of raising a dollar amount to the table. If you're trying to do like a $5,000 event, you can break it down to 5 host committee $1,000 each, you can break it down to $500 each. Any way that you can to average it out or to put in various tiers that will allow individual people to take more responsibility in making the event a success. Celebrities and concepts, like we said earlier, they don't raise money. It's because the fact that you can have a great idea, but people aren't interested in your candidate, you're not going to be able to do it. I'm a member who is likes karaoke. So we do some karaoke fundraisers, we do low dollar events, and you guys know what I'm talking about. So of course, that already is a fun event. It's not your traditional sort of event that most elected officials do on a regular basis. Had joint fundraisers with other members elected to do the karaoke, where we pay a little bit more to karaoke with the member. And then we also have other events where the karaoke is, just a general fun event type of sort of thing. We sell, tickets for like $25. We do all sorts of different levels that people can participate. And sometimes it raises, $10,000 in $1 contribution. So you really just need to figure out exactly what your network of people are likely to support the candidate with, because that's how you're going to really get people involved. Keeping costs to the minimum. 10% is generally the overhead cost for doing an event, because whatever your goal is, you don't want to go over that 10% so that you can bank as much money as possible, that you're not spending what you raise to get an event. So I sometimes will go as low as 8%, but some fundraisers, others will go up to 12. So it depends on how incredibly effective your event is. So I have one member where generally we do about $100,000 for one event, and we go all out. We fly in a chef who's from LA, flies in a chef from LA to DC. We put them up for 2 days in a hotel. We're basically spending about $10,000 to be able to put this event together, but we're raising $100,000. So you need to be able to keep your costs to a minimum. People within the Asian American community, if you're really thinking about food and all of that, that's great. But at the same time, for most fundraising events, I worked with Senator Reid, and his whole idea is I don't pay for your protein, or you don't pay for your protein. Meaning, if you go to a breakfast that the leader is at, he does not have eggs, bacon, anything that is a protein product, because he's going to give you a continental breakfast of pastries and fruit. Because he says, this is your campaign money, and it's going back to paying for control over the cost. So unless I have, because also the same thing is if someone says to me, I want to in-kind you the cost, well, I say, we'd rather have your money than in-kind you the cost. So we would rather, let's go over the budget, like how nice do you want it? How nice do we feel is nice? Because, some people feel like they want to have flowers, they want to have all these, fancy things, which can be done if you're going to raise a large amount of money. Like many people, if you're raising for the DCC or any of the national committees, you will go to a nice lunch, if if we had the majority of the speaker was there and it was, so you'll spend some items like that, but for the most part on a regular campaign, you want to put all of your money back.
For a house party. if
House
someone does
party.
it, it's a total different.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
so I
want,
think a lot of people might be doing house parties.
if
So
you do house parties too, that's where you need to also consider the fact that if you're in-kinding that cost for the campaign or whatever, it's even less than that. So you're
if you
talking
keep
like,
receipts, because the campaign will want the receipts to see what you're in
Even if you didn't pay the campaign, if I have a house party and I give whatever checks I get directly to the campaign,
Right,
I should keep in mind that I should spend more than 5%.
right, but I'm saying what you do spend, some campaigns want
like
you
your
to,
receipts.
want
yeah.
your receipts to say that's
Because
an
of the
income.
law, the
Right.
campaign law is.
That's what I'm trying to
Because
say.
on federal elections, if you're raising money for a House, a U.S. House, or U.S. Senate race, you have a homeowner's exemption, which allows you to spend up to $1,000 on food and beverage per election. So then that way, that $1,000 isn't even considered an income. It's just money that you can spend towards the use of your home when you host it only in your home.
And you can deduct it.
And, right, so you can still give your $2,500 plus spend another $1,000 to host an event at your home. So like we try to make sure like all the event costs that are being used towards any sort of fundraiser we control just so that people aren't spending, their max in trying to, do a nice event when in fact we can do still a nice event and still spend like $1,000 and still take in another 1,500 or whatever it is. So pursue that.
Yeah, I didn't realize there were so many written documents that were required, because when we did ours for Carrie, I donated all the food and I cook,
Right.
and we borrow a friend's house because she has a huge house, and some of the people donated the drinks, and whatever per